This is another video looking at flickr images of Rainham, and this is I've explained about how it ended up where it finished. You know, when Blue Triangle sold to Go Ahead, they had located to the final site. But when you look at images on Flickr, effectively they moved back to where they started, but they also moved around. As I said, it's a very well, I don't know when one site finished and another site started. So again, UK aerial photos. This is 1999 to 2003. And you can see these yellow gantries here, the yard here, which where Blue Triangle finished. In 2004 to 2007, you can see that the gantries are still here, but the yard's empty. So this is now first London. This is what was and will be the Blue Triangle yard, but there doesn't seem to be much happening. But then if we jump up to 2010, you can see the yard's now fully in use. You've got the bus wash here, the building, and obviously the bus wash is where these gantries used to be, if that makes sense. So again, when you're looking at Rainham on Flickr, as I said, there's a point about partly why I'm trying to do this, because obviously I'm also trying to think things through in my head. And obviously when you look up Rainham, photographs of Rainham, you might sit there being slightly confused about what you're looking at and when. So if we go here, Roger Goodrum. So this is Rainham, August 1993, and you've obviously got the yellow gantries here, which you can see the yellow gantries. You can't see them quite so clearly here. So we know we're in the Blue Triangle yard. It's the same vehicle, and now we're looking back at this building. This is David Beardmore and August 2000. So again, we've got our gantry, which we know about. We've got an earlier version of the Blue Triangle logo, and if you look here, you can just about there's an element of wishful thinking up to an extent. You know, you might be looking at the open top buses, but off here you can see a Croydon Tramlink dart. As I said earlier, Blue Triangle drivers drove Croydon Tramlink darts for a short while. This image is again the 474. So again, the original yard is still in use and is now being used. This is dated June 2000, David Beardmore again. So the still yard is still in use, and you've got the sightseeing buses on the other side. And if you zoom in, you can just about make out that the one on the extreme left is open top. Dave's PSVs. So now I'll go back to 1995. So again, this shows how far back this yard was. So if you see a flat roof, you're on the original site, and if you see the pitched roofs, then you know you're at the other end of the site where the twin pylons are. John Law. Again, we've got the flat roof. So again, we're in the yard. So the still yard will be off to the left. Dave's PSVs again. So again, you can see the still, the stored still in the yard, and then the bus is parked the other side. I couldn't quite make out the logos on the later Nationals. So again, this is Paul. So again, this shows the original yard in use for TFL works. Obviously, you've got the steel yard next to it, so you kind of know where you are. So again, if we go back to Will Swain, this is the building that you see in the background here, but the steel yard is effectively more or less here where the bus wash is. So again, but obviously they've then moved out of here at some point, moved to where the containers are, and then once the steel yard was cleared, they've obviously come back. But like I said, I don't know the sequence, but hopefully I've sort of given you some clarity of how Blue Triangle moved around the site. And then when you see, you know, the different photos of Blue Triangle, you can go, oh yeah, that's probably where the twin pylons are. Oh yeah, that's the containers, that's where that was. Oh, if I see the gantries, then I know I'm pre, you know, I'm more or less pre, I don't know, 2001 or whatever, or 2002, before that site was cleared. And I'll put links to Will Swain, Paul, Dave's PSVs, John Law, Dave's PSVs, David Beardmore, Roger Goodrum, and Roger Goodrum. Hopefully I've made some sense of what you're looking at and kind of explained the site to an extent. I would have, again, liked to have been able to say to you, this was used until such and such a date, then they moved here till this date, then they were operated from here till this date, and then they moved back into where they started. But I can't really do that, unfortunately. But it just goes to show the extent to which Blue Triangle moved around the site at Rainham.